And yesterday we worked on the simplification of rational expressions. And I will tell you, this is the secret to be happy in math, and I also think is the secret to be happy in life. If you simplify things, if you try to make everything simpler and easier and less complicated, and that's the whole point of what we have worked, what we have learned yesterday. Simplifying rational expressions will make much easier to work with the rational expressions. You're going to agree with me, it's not difficult, but there's a difficult path, a difficult thing before simplifying, which is this, factoring. Not going to say difficult, but the hard work is here. Factoring. After you do all the hard work, factoring all numerators, factoring all the denominators, and you're going to move from this expression, very complicated, with lots of terms, lots of coefficients, lots of exponents. You're going to move to this, another expression, much simpler, see? After you factor and after you cancel the common factors. Another example, yes, we have this expression, very complicated, lots of coefficients, several exponents, different exponents. Then we factor it out and we will end up, cancel the common factors, and we will end up with that one. Much simpler, much easier, right? This is simplification, it's making our life easier. But before simplifying, there's this thing here, factoring. That's that's where the hard work lies. You have to identify techniques, and this is last chapter. Remember January? We work on January, techniques of factoring to transform the expression from this to that. And then look at the resulting expression. Find the common factors. This is the easiest part. Yes, x plus 2 is equals to x plus 2. We can cancel out. And the result is 2 over x plus 3. Sweet. Not the simplification is the easiest part. Now let's understand a little bit more about factoring. How to reach this point. On the next slide, have a look at the example. Simplifying 6x squared plus 12x over 7x squared plus 14x. After we factor out, apply all the factoring techniques that we know, we will end up from this will be transformed into that. Okay? Tell me, what is the common factors that we can simplify, that we can cancel out, and what is the result of that the simplification of this rational expression, as we can see here. What do you think? Tell me here in the chat box. That's the right answer. Yes, thank you, Prisdale. Thank you, Smiling. We can cancel out. This x is the same common factor, right? You can cancel out. We have x plus 2. You can cancel out with x plus 2. And at the end, will remain only 6 on the numerator and 7 on the denominator. I'm telling you, the simplification part, this is the simplification. It's easy. The hard part is this, the factoring. The factoring part is where the hard work lies. Is where you have to find the formulas, identify the techniques, and transform this hard and difficult rational expression into an easier one to simplify. Thank you. Great answer. Let's move. And this is a review from yesterday. now we will work on the topic of today's class. Thank you. Yeah, Jacob. It's kind of you're gonna see after you factor out is the easiest part, but don't be fooled by what I'm saying, because the factoring sometimes is really tricky. The factoring, depending on the expression, sometimes you can see straight away how to factor it out. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. But thank you for the feedback, Jacob. Moving on. This is the topic of today's class. We are still working with simplification, but a special case of simplification is when we simplify ratios of -1. When you have two common factors, identical factors, on the numerator and the denominator, you know you can cancel out, right? You can cancel because if you divide one by the other, is equals to 1. Sometimes the factors, they are not the same. Check this, we have -5 and 5. This first example here. -5 is not the same thing as 5. They are the opposite, right? When they are the opposite, you can say the ratio is going to be -1. You can divide -5 by 5, and the result is -1, right? And another example, 100 and -100. Okay, again, they are not the same factors. They are opposite factors, but when you divide one factor by its opposite, you're going to have -1. Another example, now with variables. Check this. X plus 7 divided by or over -x minus 7. They are not the same factors, they are different, but they are the opposite. One is the opposite of the other. We can factor out on the numerator or on the denominator, doesn't matter. You can factor out -1. And then you can simplify, cancel out, and the result is going to be -1. Same thing here. 2 minus x over x minus 2. They are not the same factors, they are opposites. They are opposite. That means you can factor out -1 and simplify and find the answer is -1. It looks pretty simple. As usual, when I explain the concept, it kind of looks simple. But then when you try to apply on a example, it's not as simple as we thought. And let's do an example now and check if this is true or not. And we will work on the example here, that we have here, simplifying the rational expression to the lowest terms. The expression that we have is this: x minus 5 over 25 minus x squared. Well, I cannot see anything of what we have seen in the last slides. No, I cannot see any equal, common term, common factor. I mean, I cannot see any common factor. I cannot see any opposite factor. How can I simplify? That's the point. We need to factor it out first. You have to remember that this can be rewritten, and we can say that 25 minus x squared is the same thing as 5 squared minus x squared. And this is a formula. We have the formula for it. A squared minus b squared equals a minus b times a plus b. You have to apply this formula on that denominator. that means we can rewrite 5 squared minus x squared as 5 minus x times 5 plus x. Now we are getting to the point where we can compare factors. We are almost there. Let me write again, repeat here the numerator. We didn't change anything in the numerator. Is x minus 5, x minus 5. Okay. Now maybe x minus 5 and 5 minus x, they are opposites. To make sure, factor out -1 on the denominator or on the numerator. Doesn't matter. Let's factor out here on the numerator. -1 times 5 minus x over 5 minus x times 5 plus x. Cool? That's the point where we will simplify. Find the common factors. Such an easy thing, right? Look, we have 5 minus x, we have 5 minus x. After you do all the hard work to clean, to organize, to factor it out, it's so easy because you can find not too hard to find the common factors. So the final answer is going to be -1 over 5 plus x. Tell me, you have any questions at all? What do you think? Is this too complicated, or it makes some sense, or maybe we need to practice? What do you think? Do you have any feedback at all? And trust me, after you practice this kind of thing, you're going to be much more confident, and you're going to understand what I'm telling you. Yes, the factoring is hard work. As long as you practice, you're going to identify the formulas and the techniques, and you will be able to apply in order to factor out and find all the factors and common factors. But at the end, when it's everything factored out, piece of cake. Yes, 5 minus x we can cancel out, and the result is going to be much nicer and cleaner and simpler rational expression that's equivalent to the original one. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you, Iwil. If you agree, we will move to the practice round now. But before, as usual, let's practice on the quiz. But before, I need you to answer the bell work. Help the librarian. How to put the books back in their place. She needs to know how many books in total were here before. We know that the book that's left was the 4th book from left to right. And on the right hand side, you're going to have 2/3 of the total amount of books in the shelf. Well, if the book, this book here that's left, was the 4th book from left to right, that means we need to have here on this space 4 books in total, including this book, this one, right? And on that space here is 2/3 of the total. 2/3 of the total is on the other space. So we're going to complete the whole shelf. So x is the total number of books. It's going to be 4 plus 2/3 of x. So the answer to the bell work is going to be 12. 12 books on the middle shelf. The quiz is about simplifying rational expressions, and we have here letter A. Let's work on letter A. The beginning, the first questions are very simple, and don't be upset with me, please. I know you're going to say, but this I already know, this is so, so obvious. Okay, it's a bit obvious, but just to make sure that you have this concept, you understand this concept. Check this, r plus 6 divided by 6 plus r. You need to understand that you can change the position, you can move and switch places, and it's the same thing, right? It's the same factor. At this point you can see very clearly that r plus 6 is the same thing as r plus 6. You can divide and equals to 1. The answer for letter A is going to be 1, right? Don't complain with me, please. This is so obvious, but I need you to really grasp and understand this. You can change the position, you can change the place, it doesn't matter. But now, let us see. Now we have different factors. Check this out. We have b plus 8, and on the denominator you have negative b minus 8. It looks like they are the opposites. So we need to factor out negative 1 to make sure they are the opposite. You have b plus 8. And after that, yes, we can confirm that we are able to factor out, to cancel, to eliminate, to divide b plus 8 by b plus 8, and then we have 1 over negative 1. And this is equals negative 1. Pretty simple, pretty easy. The first questions are not difficult at all. On letter K, check if you can factor out anything on the numerator and on the denominator. On the numerator, I think we can factor out 8, and then it's going to be y minus 2. On the denominator, I think we can factor out 4, and the variable we have y and y squared, so we can factor out 4y. 2 minus y. Okay? These factors here, they look like they are the opposite. See? Y minus 2, and at the bottom we have 2 minus y. Maybe they are the opposite. To make sure, to be sure, if they are the opposite, you factor out negative 1 of the numerator or the denominator, doesn't matter. So let's factor out on the numerator, negative 1, 2 minus y, over, on the bottom 4y, 2 minus y. Very good! Now I can see very clearly that 2 minus y is the same factor as 2 minus y. You can simplify. 8 times negative 1, negative 8. Negative 8 divided by 4, negative 2. So the answer here is negative 2 over y. Thank you, Kellen. Now you will ask about O. And O is a good one because you need to work on the factoring. We have some factoring to work here. Keep the numerator, not going to work now at the numerator, but at the bottom we can factor out 12, right? It's pretty clear that we can factor out 12, and we cannot factor any variable because one is x squared, the other one is y squared. We don't have common variables on the terms, so x squared minus y squared. But this is difference of perfect squares. Remember the formula? A squared minus b squared equals a minus b times a plus b. Apply this formula here on the denominator. Y minus x over 12 times a minus b, x minus y, times a plus b, x plus y. Now, maybe this is the opposite of that, right? Y minus x and x minus y. Factor out 1, negative 1 from maybe the first, the numerator. Negative 1 times x minus y. Oops. 12 over x minus y, x plus y, and the answer here is negative 1 over 12x plus y. Thank you, Ewell. Let me check now. Let me send you a few answers. Zoom out, check all the work that you have done, and you are asking here, let's see, clear, letter B. Letter B is 1. Letter B is 1. J, Jacob asked about J. And let me give you the answer for letter J. Negative x. The answer for J is negative x. Okay, Jacob. Makina is asking about I. This is a good one, Makina. Thank you. This is a tricky question. You cannot factor it out. You're going to write c plus 4 over c minus 4 because it's already simplified. See? This is a tricky question. The other one that's tricky is this. b plus 2 over b minus 2. You cannot factor it out. They are not opposites. They are not the same. So you cannot simplify at all. This is a tricky question.